And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Before we do get into today's video, as always, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. So I hope you guys are all okay. We've got some big news to discuss as we are set to agree a deal, which is massive transfer news, which I want to go over in just a moment. So, of course, earlier we spoke about the Kyogo injury from yesterday's game against Hibernian. We spoke about the need of more depth in the striker positions. Of course, that was known before that injury scare with Kyogo. Of course, Kyogo has always held a long-term, ongoing shoulder injury. It seems like every few months his shoulder causes him problems and he misses a period of time away from the pitch, which has always been quite concerning, but even more so now, starting the season with only one striker. Thankfully, we are still in the transfer window, so deals still can be made. But still, at this point of the season, this point in the transfer window, to only have one fit first-team striker is really concerning. Now, we know that the club have been actively pursuing a deal for Adam Idah, and that is what we want to go through in today's video, because it appears we are now at the closest point we've ever been at signing Adam Idah, and things are looking really good. So a few days ago we discussed that Celtic have reignited their negotiations with Norwich City over the potential move of Adam Idah. So that was basically a report stating that Celtic and Norwich are now in advanced talks for striker Adam Idah. It was understood negotiations are centred around a fee in the excess of £6 million plus add-ons. The talks were ongoing, but there is now a willingness from all parties to conclude a deal. So, of course, Adam Idah did feature for Norwich yesterday off the bench as they lost to Oxford in the Championship. A very surprising result there. He didn't really do much off the bench at all. Of course, always appeared to struggle at Norwich. Never had a great goal-scoring stats for a striker, of course, at Norwich. And, of course, when we signed him on loan, a lot of the Celtic fans were kind of aware of that and wondered how good he'd actually do at Celtic. Of course, he exceeded most of the fans' expectations and did superb in a 6-month loan at the club, hence why we are pursuing a permanent deal. So an update today on this situation is that Celtic are closing in on the sign of Norwich City striker Adam Idah. The lengthy negotiations are reaching a climax and agreement from all parties is close. The deal is expected to be finalised this week, with Idah ready to sign a long-term contract. So this is great news to hear. Of course, first of all, because we've been after Adam Idah since his loan concluded at the end of last season, we knew that we wanted to get him in a permanent transfer. Gaff has been pretty open about that as well. Brendan Rodgers has spoke about his desire to bring Adam Idah back in. He's obviously a massive fan of Idah. The fans love Idah as well. Of course, the goals that he scored in important games, Scottish Cup final being the standout one in that as well. And for him to now finally be on the verge of agreeing a permanent move to Celtic is really exciting, and it feels like it's about time as well, especially even more enhanced by the fact that Kyogo is currently the only first-team striker at the club. So now with Adam Idah coming in, it definitely eases some concerns about that position. Look, I mentioned earlier as well, I still feel like we still should have 3 strikers in our first-team setup before the season even starts. Of course, now we may have 2, but I still feel like we should maybe look to get someone else in as a backup to both those players, or maybe look at promoting within the youth setup to someone that can get some minutes in certain cup games here and there. Of course, we are playing Hibs this weekend again in the Scottish League Cup in the second round of the competition on Sunday. So maybe we could experiment with some players in certain positions, see how they get on in that game. Of course, don't want to risk getting knocked out of the competition again early on, but I think giving some youngsters some game time could be crucial to them and to Celtic as well, to kind of evaluate the players that we have in our youth setup that could maybe do a job for us this season, and particularly maybe up front as well. If Kyogo isn't fit, we could see that being a potential thing that Rodgers does on Sunday. So we'll see how that comes about come that game. Of course, that is still 6 days away. But yeah, the big news today is that Celtic are now edging closer to the sign of Adam Idah, which is, of course, very exciting. Of course, it mentions that he's ready to sign a long-term contract as well. So I imagine that's probably 4 to 5 years. Of course, he's still 23, 24, so he's still very much quite young. Very pleased with this business that the club are doing now with Idah. Now, of course, there are other areas on the pitch we need to improve upon before the transfer window does come to an end. So we will keep updated with all the news around the transfer window between now and, of course, deadline day, because we need another left back, we need another centre half, and there's still talk about us getting another right wing player. Now, for me, that is the bottom priority right now. Bottom of our priority list is a right winger, just given that Nicholas Kuhn started fairly well to the season. I would look at more left back. Maybe Jeffrey Schlupp could still be a good choice for us. Some of you guys were kind of divided on your opinion on that transfer, saying that he's 31, he's kind of past it. I think he's a good option for us for the here and now to get into the first team and add some quality into that position and some competition into that position for Greg Taylor, of course. And centre half as well. That's another worrying area of the pitch we need to improve upon. There's been no real links either. That's because at left back we've been linked to a lot of players. Owen Beck, Hugo from Wolves, and now Jeffrey Schlupp. But when it comes to centre half, O'Shea was linked at the start of the transfer window, but since then it's gone really, really quiet. A player that we were linked to a while ago as well, Chris Mepham, he's going somewhere else now completely. So the players that we were briefly linked to at one point or another, it's definitely a dead lead now. Nothing's happening with those players. So centre half is a worrying position as well. So there's still a lot of work to be done throughout the rest of this transfer window. So let's not get too carried away with the sign of Adam Idah, because it is, of course, a brilliant deal that the club have managed to conjure up here. But that is an area that needed improving upon, and it's done now, as long as it's confirmed, and hopefully it will be by this week, which will be exciting for us. And of course, another one as well, Matt O'Reilly, if he was to be sold as well, that's a position we need to improve upon as well, to get his replacement in through the door. Of course, we signed Paulo Bernardo already. He came to the club to play alongside or rotate with in midfield with Matt O'Reilly, not to be his replacement. So there still needs to be another player coming in to replace Matt O'Reilly should he leave, which of course it looks more and more likely that he will as the days pass in this transfer window. More and more teams putting bids in for him and getting closer and closer to Celtic's asking price. So yeah, a lot of work to be done this transfer window. So we are back in action this Sunday in the Cup. Looking forward to that match again against Hibs, this time at home, which of course is always nice to play at Celtic Park. I'm going to go for a 3-0 win. Hopefully we can get another clean sheet. That would be pretty cool as well. Of course, Kasper Schmeichel had a great start to his Celtic career as well, worth mentioning. Looking good, looking comfortable, which of course we all thought would be the case when he came in. And yeah, looking forward to seeing what we can achieve throughout the rest of this transfer window. Hopefully more players do come and less players leave that we want to keep hold of, such as Matt O'Reilly. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video. How excited are you? How excited are you about the prospect of Adam Idah eventually finally signing for Celtic on a permanent transfer? Let me know down below. Make sure you do drop a like on this video and make sure you are subscribed to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.